Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Young Africa with me, Wangui Ngugi. This is the show where we get to talk about young people's issues from wherever they are, be it in East Africa, Africa and beyond. In this particular show, we will be looking at money, saving and investment. Are our youth economically stable? Are they contributing to building the economy, especially the economy of Somaliland? With me in this show is Ali Ahmed, who is a lecturer at the University of Hargeisa. We are happy to have you. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on your program, CBA. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us, who is Ali Ahmed?
Thank you. My name is Ali Ahmed. I took my first degree in University of Hargeisa. After that, I got scholarship from Ethiopia, a Master of Public Management and Development Studies. Then I came back to here and just started to educate the youth and University of Hargeisa in particular. Now I'm a lecturer in University of Hargeisa. So in business and public administration department and social work departments as well. Thank you.
When I was a student in university, I really used to fear lecturers, like you, those people we look up to, like your role models. You have so much knowledge. How is your relationship with your students?
I mostly teach the social work students who are open, and then other students who interact themselves. Yeah, so to create kind of environment which can make possible to interact with the students depends on the skills of the teacher or the instructor. So I have been teaching and in the teaching environment for so many years. I have been serving for international organizations as a TOT and education and expert, as well as secondary school teacher. So this enables me to interact with the students in an effective and efficient manner. You can create an environment which can make possible to the students to not fear from you and make possible to ask you the questions that they are that they have their minds. So if you have a teaching skills, this will enable you to interact effectively with your teachers and make them and make your class very effective. So all these experiences helped me to make the environment and my classes interactive.
So you as a lecturer, so many students look up to you, and you are giving out, like you're helping them build their careers. You're turning students to professionals, you know. And other than making sure that they become professionals once they graduate, how are you ensuring that they are able to face life? Because life is not only about careers. There are so many challenges out there. Do you have moments where you talk to the students and tell them this is how life is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In University of Hargeisa, I teach research methodology and project planning and management class for social work students and public policy management in public administration students. Apart from these classes, I try to equip them to equip them skills that can enable them to manage themselves. For example, if I complete my class early, it's about 4 months. We teach mostly every subject in 4 months. So if I finish early for that class, I try to equip them skills like how they can write CV and how they can apply jobs and the skills that I think that they can get experience and they might have benefit the day that they finish their university. So these are the skills that I mostly teach them apart from the actual classes that I instruct. Yeah.
Well, speaking of jobs, like you prepare them with how to write CVs and how to look for jobs, but most of the time, unfortunately, once you graduate, you don't get a job immediately.
Exactly.
And we have seen lots of young people, they're running away to the diaspora.
Yeah.
They're going to Europe,
Exactly.
America, because they think life there is better. Is it true? Is it that life there is better, or what's wrong?
I think that the issue, the people that are moving to Europe or any Western Africa was increasing day by day for the last century. So I think this is kind of a disaster, which is moving and the African youth from Africa to a country that is not their country.
Yeah.
Building your country should be your priority. For example, if we talk about Europe, Europe was not developed before 200 years. They were just fighting themselves.
Yeah.
They were underdeveloped countries. So, and most of them were failed states because there was a First World War and Second World War, which we know how these wars were destroyed Europe.
Yeah.
So if the youth or the young people in a country did not think about the development of their country, this does not mean that a guy who is from another country is going to develop their country. The way that they can stop moving is to save money.
Yeah.
They can save money. They could be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They could initiate businesses that they are going to start from the root. So this will enable them and for their country to develop.
So you're telling the young people in Africa to move away from the mentality that only someone from the outside world can bring development.
Exactly.
Because development is not always big projects.
That
can
is
start
true.
small.
There are papers that has been written from the donations that we are getting from the Western countries. These scholars that wrote these papers are doing that. This donation is a disaster to African countries. If we stop taking these donations and we sit together and think about the way that we can develop Africa, I am sure that Africa will develop. For example, in Somalia, if you see the businesses or the businessman or the rich man, they simply start from nothing. They simply start from nothing, and now they are millionaires.
Yeah.
Now they are millionaires. So being a millionaire can start having $10.
So a young person with no money, like no source of income, you're just a student, you probably don't have resources like land or livestock. Are you telling them that they can still be millionaires and billionaires?
Yeah. We are feeling here the role of the government. The government should take the role of creating an environment which enable the youth and the teenage and the youth who are just graduating from universities to in an environment which can enable them to create businesses. So such kind of ways or creating policies will enable and the youth wherever they are in Africa can enable them to think and to create. And even the government can create programs that are innovating, that are giving a force which or energy which can make the youth to think in an effective manner. So my advice is the only way that we can develop Africa, the whole of Africa or Somaliland country, is to have an environment which is suitable to initiate something, and also on the other side, the youth should think about the way that they can develop their country instead of moving to Europe or developing.
When I was younger, I'm still young, but when I was younger, I remember my life as a student was the brokest life I ever lived. Like, I was broke like all the time, because you're depending on your parents for pocket money, and from that pocket money is where you try and save a little bit to buy whatever you want for yourself, because maybe they'll give you just small amount on a daily basis. So young people usually say, we don't have money, we want to invest. Yes, we have ideas, but we don't have money. Is it true? Like,
yeah, for example, I have seen in Somaliland kind of programs that are encouraging the youth to come ideas. For example, in the Habshil, you can submit your business idea to financial institutions. If you convince your business idea to them, they may invest you. Even apart from that, there are other humanitarian organizations that are eager to invest the young Africans. So, for example, these getting such kind of investment depends on how you create a proposal which can convince
a convincing proposal
the guys who are gonna give you the money. So apart from collecting and saving money in your account, you may have such kind of opportunities which can enable you to create a business. To create a business. So, but in Somali culture, the business guys are mostly those who were used to people.
Used to people.
So, for example, mostly Somalis are healers. When in the nomadic or in the countryside, when a family get lost his and camel, they simply move to the cities. They try to build themselves from the scratch. So those who came to the cities earlier are the richer. Are the richer in Somali culture. In Somali environment now. So they start from the scratch. They tried so many times, but lastly they succeed. So starting a business can as I have already said, can simply start $10. For example, Bill Gates. Bill Gates was just a student. He simply stopped his college and tried to create a business idea. So he started from the scratch. Now he's billionaire. So starting a business can start even $1.
I also think that the problem with our youth, they don't have the culture of saving. It's not that they completely have no money, because you'll see them partying Thursday nights, Friday nights. They're buying foods in hotels, not cheap hotels, they can afford to save,
Yeah.
but they don't have the culture of saving.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think even young people, many young people, don't even own bank accounts.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
They-
In Somali culture,
Yeah.
we share what we have. This is why you cannot see something who is gonna die
With hunger.
with hunger.
Ah.
So this could be a benefit. But apart from that, if you have a money today, you must not use it and you must not use all of it in one time. You have to save that money. You have to think about the way that you can invest something that you will benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because you might need something. No one can guarantee for the future. Yeah. So you have to think about the way that you can create something that have a benefit for you for the future. For example, in Somaliland or in Hargeisa, and mostly the people invest on land. It is the only one that can. It's the only one that's more appreciable. But about land is not productive.
Yeah.
If I just buy a plot of land from the corner of the city, I cannot employ people who are just. But if I create a small business, I can simply recruit 2 or 3 people.
So you create employment.
Exactly, I'm creating
Yeah.
employment. So instead of putting money only to the land, we might have other ideas that we can create, business ideas which can benefit and boost the economy of the country.
So you do project planning management.
Exactly.
So it means you're good at advising people how to plan their business.
Exactly.
What would you advise a young person who's planning to start up a business?
Planning means there's a English wisdom which says,
Yeah.
if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan,
Yeah.
you plan to fail.
Yes.
So firstly, if you fail to plan your plan, this means that you plan to fail. So when I am, for example, creating a business, if I did not save money
Yeah.
in an effective and efficient manner, this means that I am not going. My intention is not to grow my business. So we planning should be a core activity which can enable the youth to develop themselves or to develop their country. Yeah.
How about for those youth who have no chance of joining university? Probably they can't afford the fee. Can they still get information on how to plan their business? Like, where do they get this information, or do they just observe other businessmen and do the same?
Exactly. If you fail to start a university education, this does not mean that you fail to continue your life. You might create other ideas that can benefit for you. For example, in African countries, we mostly go to the universities,
Yeah.
but in the kindergarten, we have to think about the mentalities of these kids, what they are good. Yeah. For example, if they are better for mechanics, you have to take them to the mechanics. But if you take someone who is better for mechanics to an academic institution and say, please be a teacher,
Yeah.
this could make him to fail from the life. So we have to think about the way even we can evaluate our kids and make them and blend them and what they are good. Yeah.
Just the other day we had the national examinations for the secondary school students, and we're expecting the results soon. There's that moment when you have your results, you've performed very well, and you want to join university, but you're not sure which course to take. What would you advise such a young person? Because whatever choices they make, it will also define their future.
Yeah. Mostly in developed countries or developing countries, the government is responsible to give education to those who are graduating from secondary schools. But I am sure that in Somaliland, if you are committed to study with having nothing, I am sure that you are going to study. For example, I remember my friends who were just decided to continue their education, but their families were poor and cannot give them the money that they can go to the university. They started to have. In Somalia, we have here what we call it home teaching. They are going to a family who want to build their children at the night, apart from the school and formal education. So, if you are committed to create or to prepare yourself to go to the university, I'm sure that you can go. But it needs to be committed. And face the challenges of the life.
So should someone choose a certain career based on their performance? Like for example, if you're good in sciences, then you're definitely fit for a course related to science. If you're good in the socials, like how do you choose?
So mostly in Somaliland, the higher education is business. You are gonna giving the money. So even I feel when I'm in the university, when I'm lecturing or when I'm instructing students, I feel that social and science students are in social work. They are good for science, but they are in social work.
Most of them.
Even I have seen social students who are in the medicine. This is not what we need here. So we need to have kind of programs that are just encouraging, kind of orientations, who are just giving hint information about the courses or the departments that they can apply when they are going to the university. But in Somaliland culture, if your friend choose to study business,
so you also
and
choose.
You are social science. And you are science and pure science. You are simply going to choose what they do.
Because you want your friend in your class. And that's a wrong decision, I think.
So these are what we need to avoid. For example, one secondary school secondary examinations are just finished. We might have kind of programs that we are going to make orientations for the students by giving them an advice, the best courses that they can choose.
Well, what advice would you give to the youth of Africa? They are really discouraged. They're looking for jobs. They're not getting jobs.
Exactly.
You know? They're thinking of disappearing to the diaspora.
I'm simply saying, please stop moving to Europe. If we go back to the First World War or Second World War, there you think about the way that they can develop their countries. Why are you going to move a country which is developed by their youth? You should stay here you should develop your country. If you did not develop your country, if you did not think about the way that you can develop your country, I don't think that another guy is coming from the sky and gonna develop your country. So it's the time for African and for African youth to think about, to get up from the sleeping and think about the way that they can develop their countries.
So you heard it from the lecturer himself. You say that it's time we wake up. We have been sleeping. As young people, we've been sleeping for a long time. It's time we wake up and grab all the opportunities around us. You say the government has various initiatives. We need to reach out. You've mentioned banks that if you write a good proposal, they can offer you money to invest. So there's no complete, there's no way we can say that we are totally done, like we cannot do anything, because there are many opportunities for young people.
Yeah. If you are committed to create an opportunity in Somalia, I'm sure that you can create it.
You can create it. If you want to study, you can study.
Yeah, but it needs patience.
Yeah.
It needs patience.
Well, thank you so much for coming and contributing to Young Africa. I'm sure your students have watched. They're proud of you. Oh, that's our lecturer. And we would love to have you again and again. Well, that's the end of our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, have a nice day.